We're good.
Rob and Slim Show. Rob and Slim Show.
Hello.
Hi.
Rob and Slim Show.
Hi, it's Sierra.
Sierra, how you doing? How do you pronounce your last name? Tregaskis?
Yes, Tregaskis.
Okay, I was worried. I didn't want to butcher it. Didn't want to butcher it. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. You are a paranormal investigator from Nevada, correct?
Yes, correct.
And when did you start doing that?
I have been doing this, I want to say since like 2012. So me and my husband and my daughter, we used to live in a very haunted apartment here in Reno. And during that period of time, we were just having a lot of weird things going on. We were hearing a lot of noises. My daughter's toys would just randomly turn on. And then I had like a whisper in my ear one morning when I was getting ready for work. We were seeing shadows, all kinds of apparitions. My daughter was terrified to go in her room or even sleep in her own bed. So we had a lot of unusual activity. And so back then, like I knew that there was, something paranormal. I knew that the paranormal was, it existed. However, I never really had an experience. I did when I was 12. But during that period of time, I kind of just like shook it off and, just made it to be something completely different. So at our apartment, all of that going on, I decided to use my, actually first what happened is I watched TV. I was watching TV one day. And then all of a sudden, like I came across Ghost Adventures. And then once I saw what Ghost Adventures, what they were doing, they were using their tools, and they had a variety of different things that they were using to capture spirits and entities. And I just thought that was so unusual. So I tried doing the same thing. So that's when I bought my first digital recorder. And I was just sitting in my own living room by myself doing a recording, and I captured a very negative EVP saying, "Kill him."
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So,
And this was in the same house you were seeing all this stuff.
Yeah. So we
Yeah,
ended up getting several different EVPs, even just during that period of time.
Wow.
And that was the first true experience. And that's when I got intrigued with the paranormal.
I in my 20s had a similar experience, and I heard something say "kill," and I just like, I did a lot of drugs last night. I shook it off, and it never happened again. So I'm still blaming it on the drugs.
So Sierra,
Exactly.
when you heard this voice say "kill him," who do you think it was telling you to kill?
Or was it telling your daughter
My
that?
husband.
You think it was telling you to kill
No,
your husband?
Yeah, I felt like it was telling me to kill my husband.
Wow.
That was really the only male in the house, that ever was in my home.
Him, yeah.
And so when it said kill him, I instantly thought it meant my husband. So
Fuck.
insane.
What happened at the age of 12 that you mentioned? Do you remember it?
Yeah. Okay. So when I was 12, my first experience. So I was walking around. We went camping. We were camping at Frenchman's Lake, and it was like a group of friends and family. And my friend and I were walking like just this lit path. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like that lake at all, but there's like a pathway that you can like walk up, kind of just like the roads that lead from the campgrounds. So my friend and I were just walking this path. We're like, let's go take a walk. So we're walking the path, and it's all lit by campfires. Well, all of a sudden, the campfires are not lighting our pathway anymore. And we're like, okay, we should probably turn back. Right as we were saying that, that's when this entity appeared right in front of both of us. We both saw it. Both of us looked at each other, and we were just like, holy shit. Do you see what I see? And I'm sorry for my profanity. I apologize.
Not at all.
But
Curse all you want.
It was just a shock, really. It was the most amazing thing. I've never seen anything like it again, because it appeared as if you were in front of me. It was that. I could probably reach out and touch him. It was that real. It was incredible. And then after we looked at each other after we saw that, and then it just disappeared right in front of us. And I almost can guarantee it was an old miner from back in the day. And I did some research many years later. I did some research on it, and I came across that they said that there was a whole mining areas up there in Frenchman's Lake area, and there was a mining accident and killed several miners.
Wow.
So that was pretty intense. Yeah.
And you have a whole group, a whole company, correct? Luminosity Paranormal?
Yeah, I do. Correct.
How did you meet those people that you work with?
Okay, so one of them is my husband, Jonathan. And then another is my old neighbor, Mariah. And our third guy, that is Steven. And I met him through a posting that I made online looking for people that want to join a paranormal team. So I didn't know how else to get another person to join us. And so, I just threw out an ad.
He's like Winston. Thank you, Slambo.
What?
He's like Winston to the Ghostbusters.
I guess, right?
And,
you know what? That's his name from now on. I'm calling him freaking Winston.
Freaking love Winston.
Winston was cool. Winston was cool. And that's why when I was watching Stranger Things, the black kid didn't want to be Winston, but Winston was cool. Winston was cool.
Exactly. Heck yes. No longer Steven.
Has anyone ever called you for something where, like, nothing was going on? Like, have you ever responded to something where, like, you couldn't pick up on anything, or you just thought there wasn't really any paranormal activity going on?
No, the only time I've ever actually been contacted, but there was nothing happening, is when somebody thought it was cool to do a prank.
Okay.
They prank called us, sent us to a random address, and boom, we show up, and we're just not happy.
Oh,
otherwise,
yeah, that's shitty.
Some people suck. But otherwise, no, like everywhere we've gone that we've been called to, there has been something going on in some way, shape, or form.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And has there ever
luckily,
been
we don't have that issue.
So what's that?
I said, luckily, we just don't really have that issue.
Yeah, I caught some ghost hunters once, and like they showed up at my house, and I was just wearing a sheet on me with the eyes cut out, and I went boo.
That's a dread, Sierra. He's a prankster.
I'd be so mad. They would not like me.
Have you ever had a case where you had to call in someone else to help you?
Absolutely. My good friend Mish, I don't know if you know Michelle LeBaron, but she's one of our really close friends, but she's also my team's mentor. And I've called on her several times. So she has an amazing energy about her, and she's taught me how to properly cleanse people's properties and their homes, and how to keep things out. So I have called on her during a situation like I was living with my parents, and the house, we had a tendency to bring things home every time we investigated. So I would constantly bring spirits home. So finally,
I was going to ask, like spirits or items?
The energy, huh?
I was wondering what you brought home. Was it spirits or like items from the
spirits.
job?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we would bring, they love to follow me for some reason. They just follow me everywhere. So I brought them home. They like freaking hitchhiked. So I bring back like 5 spirits. I'm not even kidding. Through the entire time, like I had been investigating from the time I lived there, I had brought so many home, and it just became so overwhelming. And my family, my dad, who is really he's not big into the paranormal at all. He does believe in it, but it's not something that he's okay with. And so my dad came to me one night, and he was like, something is waking me up at night, and I want it gone. And I was like, whoa, because that is so unlike my dad.
You aren't like, Dad, you never like my friends.
Exactly. That's what he tells me, too. Every time we go investigating, he's like, do not bring any more friends home. I am done with that shit.
So, your dad.
Yeah.
Was it your dad or your dad?
My dad and my mother used to do like, they do it like, they look for EVPs, like electronic voice phenomena. And they got a couple of good ones. Like
I remember we busted on it, but yeah, like,
yeah.
That's pretty.
Didn't you have a recording where there was like a spirit hitting on your father or something?
Yeah, man. Like they went to the area. They went to like Gettysburg, and they went to the area where all the the prostitutes would hang out and wait for the wounded soldiers to come back.
Wow.
And like he got this woman that said this. She had a French accent in the recording, and she said she said my dad's last name. She's like Jean, but in the French way of saying it.
In the French.
Yeah, she's like Gentil. Are you ever coming back?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Really
oh my
creepy.
gosh. No, I have not had that happen yet.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's pretty cool, though.
And I told him, this is really cool and all, but I think you guys should stop doing this.
I was gonna say,
but what if he was like a hot spirit? You know what I mean?
he didn't want to get rid of that spirit. He loved that spirit.
Exactly.
Sierra, I was going to ask you what the craziest thing you've ever seen investigating case, because I saw the video on YouTube. I was telling Slim earlier about the dog, the ghost dog. That was crazy.
Yes, and you know that has to be probably the best evidence on anything I've ever captured or seen.
Dude,
is definitely that ghost dog by far.
It's crazy.
Where?
I was telling Slim it's crazy. Where was that? Well, that was in the old Washoe.
Yeah, the old Washoe Club in Virginia City.
Ballroom. Yes.
Yep, inside the ballroom. It was crazy because all of us during that investigation, we were all sitting in a circle, and it was our group, and then also a few of our friends, including our friend Mitch. So we're all sitting in a big circle on the floor in the ballroom, and we're all meditating. And we decided this was like an experiment for us. Like we've never done that before. So we all sat in that circle meditating to music that Mish had put on her phone. So all of us did it, I want to say about 20 minutes. And it was during that period of time that we caught the ghost dog. And we did not, unfortunately, have any recording or anything going because my camera system, it's the Nighthawk surveillance cameras, and they don't have external mics. And so we didn't capture any of the recordings, and the music from the phone was too loud. So unfortunately, we didn't capture any audio. But
did you hear audio?
The video footage is amazing.
Did you hear anything when you were there, though? Like,
no. I wish. God, I wish. That's what I'm saying. Like the music for the meditation music was so loud that we didn't capture any audio for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's okay. We have some incredible footage.
Yeah,
so
it was
that
cool.
is my favorite.
It's okay, because like I'm pretty sure the ghost dog would have just been like, woof, woof.
Probably.
Yeah, what else?
Throw him some Scooby snacks.
I was gonna ask too. Have you ever saw anything that really disturbed you that still rattles you to the day?
Yes, absolutely. So one of our biggest investigations that really sticks in my mind, because it did disturb me so much, was our miner's cabin investigation. And it was with a group of like our team and then more friends, and we're all hanging out. I don't know if you're familiar with Miner's Cabin. It's up in Virginia City as well.
No.
And it's like a really neat little cabin. It has a full kitchen and a bathroom. Yeah, it's very cool. So we're all sitting in this living room, and we're all chatting. We're hanging out. My friend Matt, who is also a paranormal investigator and a part of my team, he's an honorary member of our team, and he has this amazing ability about him where if he opens himself up too much, he is able to bring in more energy than he probably should.
Wow.
And experience more. So he opened himself up a little too much that night, and he decided he would just wander off, right? So he's wandering around this place all by himself. This area is known for insane energy, for crazy hauntings. And so he goes outside, and all of us are like, where's Matt? And then one of our friends, Leslie, she's like, oh, he's outside. And so she goes out, and Mish goes out, and they're like, hey, get in here. We don't want you out there by yourself. We don't want anything to happen. And it so happens to be that during our investigation through that night, we realized that there's an ancient witch that haunts that area.
Wow.
And I mean, she was bad. I mean, it's just the most negative, nasty energy you could ever imagine or experience that night. And there's also at that property, there's a shed it sits right next to the cabin. And it's that shed that we realize is where she stays and hangs out. So she, throughout the night, would try coming into the place, into our cabin. And she did. Once Matt went outside and was lurking around, she attached herself to him. And when Leslie and Mish brought Matt back into the place, we realized there was something not right about him. Like, his whole demeanor changed. He was just an absolutely complete different person. He's usually very happy, outgoing, having fun. He's the life of the party.
Yeah.
Well, after he came back inside, he was not the same. I mean, he was barely speaking. He just would stare out into space. You could tell he had an attachment. If you know what an attachment looks like, which we all had one, so we all knew, we knew what had happened to Matt. So my buddy Mish was like, "What's going on, Matt? Like, what's happening? How are you feeling?" And during this time, like, my husband was sitting also like on the he was sitting on the couch. Mish was sitting on the floor, and I think I'm trying to remember right, but when we were we had our recorder going, and we also had video recording going, and the recording from the video is watching my husband, who is holding a K2 meter, and then their REM pod's next to Mish, and they're both like really close to each other. And my husband just has the K2 hanging off, in his hand over the couch. And the video caught the K2 meter flying out of his hand at an angle.
Wow.
So that witch, who was still in the place, hit that thing right out of his hand. And you can hear it on the recording as well.
Wow.
And it was amazing. And on the video, you also see like this huge orb going downwards, like on the side of the camera. You see that huge orb go down, and that's when the recorder gets knocked out, or the K2 gets knocked out of his hand.
What is a K2 meter? Is that to pick up certain things?
It's electromagnetic. Yeah, it's to pick up electromagnetic fields.
Okay.
Is what that is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the little one. Yeah, and it was the most insane thing to see. And, I was just sitting there in the kitchen and watching the video, and we saw that happen. It was amazing.
How did you take care of that? Like, did you get it to stop?
For the witch? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So let me go into that. Okay, so my buddy Matt, who was attached, he was massively attached. I mean, my friend Mish, as she was asking him, like, "What's going on, Matt? What are you feeling? How are you feeling?" And he could barely talk. He could barely even get a word out. And he's a big guy. I think he's like 6'5", probably 300 pounds. He's a big guy. My friend Mish is also, she's built. So she was able to like catch him because he was falling. So he like was falling over. She caught him and held him. And he's like sweating, and he just started crying. It was insane. I mean, the whole situation was definitely one of the scariest situations. So we all of us gathered, and we're all like taking care of him and watching over him, and we're like, "It's okay, Matt, it's okay." And then Mish, so she was like able to get this thing out of him, and she was like, you leave him now, get the fuck out of my friend." And then like my husband was like holding the door, or he was like right next to the door, and then there was a recorder on the bed, and it's a Tascam recorder, really good recorder. So it's sitting on the bed, my husband's by the door, and as Mish is telling it to leave his body, you hear, like, on the recorder, you hear this whoosh, and it, like, leaves his body, and she's like, shut the effing door now. So he, like, slams the door shut, and it's gone. It's finally out of him. It was definitely insane. Oh, wow. I can't even tell you. That disturbs the crap out of me to this day. Yeah.
Have you ever? Oh, what's that, Simba?
That is pretty freaky, man.
Oh yeah, it was terrifying. We're talking about it today. Even we were talking about trying to go back. We're scared. I'll tell you that we are scared to go back, but we really, really want to go back. Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with Oh, I'm sorry.
Huh?
I was gonna ask if you ever dealt with a haunted like artifact or item.
You know, not yet, I don't believe. However, my husband and I, we moved recently, and we are we're just in another apartment, but my stepmom, she had bought my daughter for Christmas recently, for this Christmas, bought her a desk, like a really, really antique desk and a very antique chair. And my daughter, like, I think my daughter has the gift to pick that kind of stuff up too, and sense energies and such. And so she came to me and she was like, Mom, I think my desk is haunted. I was like, what? Why? And she's like, because like weird things are happening. And then she's like, well, my friend was over and we were playing hide and seek and there was no one in that room. And she said she sat there and then something just fell over like in the closet. It really scared them. But they think that there's just something haunting that desk for sure. I can't say so for sure. I mean, it is an old desk, so maybe that's a possibility. But yeah. I don't get that feeling, but she thinks that there is.
When you guys come upon skeptics, how do you
make them believe?
Yeah, how do you
get
them to make them believe it's?
Funny that you say that, because my dad happened to be one at one point. He was a huge skeptic in all this. I mean, when I was living in my old apartment, the one that was really haunted, I was telling you guys about, I contacted my dad because when I got that EVP, it was like probably 1:30 in the morning and no one was around. And then I called my dad because I was terrified. So I contacted him and he was like, you need to stop messing with that shit. It's not even real. Just stop dealing with it. Stop messing with it. So my dad was a huge skeptic when it came to the paranormal. Finally, when we were moved in their house and that was all happening to him and he was being woken up by spirits, like he would feel the bed being pushed down right next to him. Things were whispering in his ear. Like he finally was like, okay, this shit needs to go. It's real. I know, I get it, but you need to get rid of it. So I guess you can say I converted a skeptic just by having them experience it for themselves.
Yeah. Hey, yo, Rob and Slim got to wrap this up in a little bit, but I was wondering if it was okay if I debut my new rap from my new album, Paranormal Smaranormal. Would you like to hear it? It's all about ghost hunting.
Well, of course I do.
Yeah. So like I like to really teach people, and like like I'm really big into like busting ghosts, and I bust ghosts like a lot, and I want to like teach kids that like they don't really got to be afraid of ghosts.
Of no ghosts.
So like on my new album Paranormal Smaranormal, I wrote this song and it's called Ghosts Ain't Scary. This is how it goes. I need a dope beat. Yeah. Ghost ain't scary. Ghost ain't scary. Let me tell you a story. I woke up one day and walked out into my living room. Suddenly, my porno magazines fell out of my bookcase. They were flying all over the place. And I said, hey, Ghost, I'm so fucking tired of this. Ghost, I'm so fucking tired of this. I didn't know what to do. I ran around in a circle a little bit, and then it dawned on me, I'm a motherfucking ghost killer. This is pretty easy. So I grabbed a knife from the fucking refrigerator, because that's where I keep my knives, in the refrigerator.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was good, right? I don't know how it ended, though.
Where did you download your skill from? Because I need some of that.
You guys need to collab. You guys need a commercial with the Driz.
Yo, I'll promote your ghost hunting business because I'm all about that shit.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get several followers.
You ever stab a ghost? They don't like being stabbed.
Oh, God.
That was amazing.
You're going into Nevada, Driz. You're going out there. Sierra, thank you so much, but where can everybody find you guys?
Okay, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. You can find us everywhere.
And that's I'm sorry, what's the name?
Luminosity Paranormal Researchers.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Have
Thanks
a good one.
very much for the
Take
opportunity.
care, Sierra.